don't like that, huh? So these came out of a semi-truck that came from Nebraska, and they were little wiener pigs. So we saved them from getting killed as wiener pigs because the plants back there didn't have enough capacity for them. To me, they're big enough now that they're not like scared of me, but they just don't like getting scratched too much. I scratched my hand earlier on the feeder. We had the lid kind of came off sideways when we had a rain a couple weeks ago, and water got in there and wet feed plugged up the feeder, so I had to kind of clean it out. But they're going after it now. Thankfully, it only got in about half of it, so I could move the dry feed over to one side and then scoop out the wet feed. All right, so as you can see here, they've done a real number to their paddock there. I was kind of hoping that they'd take out some of this soft rush, but that's pretty much the only thing that they haven't tilled up, and they've gone around it. So they need to get moved to a new area, and I need to put down a cover crop in that area. Probably some rye, maybe some barley, oats, some vetch. We'll see what it takes. I like to do a mix and then kind of let the seed decide what works best for that area. And I just spread it out, usually with some wheat in there too, so that way the pigs go along and kind of till it in with their hooves. So I do it about a day or two before they move. So this is the area where they were. You can see the cover crops coming up. Some areas it's coming up pretty good. I think I went a little thin with the cover crop, and I didn't, and I left them in there too long on top of it because we had some wet weather. Thankfully, the weather right now is cooperating really great. The thing that isn't cooperating is my kill guy. I know he's busy, but I've got 14 pigs waiting in this corral to get slaughtered, and they need to move because I got the other batch coming in about a week into this corral. So these guys in here need to find a new home unless he's going to show up in the next couple days. And he's not great at communicating because he probably has about a dozen other farmers calling him saying, hey, when are you going to come? Because he's way behind. But that's farming. That's life. So this is later in the day now. You can't hear what I'm saying because this tractor's just way too loud. But I'm heading over to my brother-in-law's place here to pick up some chicken shelters that were over there where we raise our meat birds in. And those shelters don't do good with wind, so I'm moving them back to the farm so that way they don't get blown across his field. Alright, so here's how we move our chicken shelters, which is a modified version of the Salatin structure. It's the same base floor print as the Salatin structure, but obviously it's got the cattle panel hoops, so it's a hoop chicken tractor. And we use the tractor for moving long distances. And so we just have a 3-point trailer hitch here on the back, and then I have this big metal bar in here with a hook on one end and that comes off the back, so we can raise and lower the back. That then hooks into this moving strap, which just wraps around the front like so. And then there is a dolly. It's just a bigger version of your regular pasture moving dolly, and then with a couple of straps tied off just in case we hit a small bump. It doesn't go flying out. If you hit a big bump, it will pop out, which is kind of good because that's better than tearing your structure apart. So these are great, in my opinion, over Salatin structures for a variety of reasons. The one downside is moving them can be a pain, and this is the best way to cope with that, in my opinion. And if you want attention going down the road, just be in a tractor pulling one of these things. You get more looks than a Ferrari. All right, So I've got these burn piles. I've got burn piles here, which I neglected to cover with a tarp. So I'm going to try to stuff some feed sacks in there and pour a whole bunch of diesel over the top to help it burn. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it takes off. All right, so I just put some feed sacks, like I said, stuffed them in there. And the only thing exciting here is that I poked my finger on a thorn. That really hurt. And then I got up there and put about, I don't know, 2 gallons or more of, probably 2 or 3 gallons of diesel all over the pile. Tried not to get it on my pants, which would be really bad if that caught fire. And then I went around the pile and lit it up, just kind of going from one section to the next, so that way it would kind of burn evenly all throughout it. And I think it was about here that I kind of got nervous because it started to really pick up there in the back, but I got out of there and decided to block the shot with the camera, and then thought better of that and went and sprayed down around the fire with a hose. All right, so I started up the second one because the first one over here pretty much died down. It's just finishing up right now. And I don't think I put enough diesel on this one though, which is probably okay. The wind kind of picked up, so I'm not going to do the other one, the third one back there today. I'll have to save that till later. But we'll see if this one dies down or picks up. I'll probably have to kind of move some of the branches around with the tractor because it's all kind of spread out right now, and the center is kind of burning out, but the rest isn't. So I wish I would have had a little bit more diesel to throw on there. Oh well. So it's probably about, I don't know, an hour later or so. This is the first burn pile here, and it's almost done. It did really well. There was even a big dirt clod kind of root clump in there that it took out about half of it, so I was really thrilled about that. The second burn pile, once I piled all those branches on the inside, it did great. And so this is just the last little bits around the edges that I just moved in with a shovel. Nearly burned off all my arm hair doing it, and I think it'll finish right up. So I still got this big one more farther down in the field to do, and then one more in another field. So hopefully we can do that before the big rains hit, because this worked great.